The first trailer for the new Silent Hill movie, Return to Silent Hill, just dropped, and as the resident Silent Hill 2 super fanboy, I felt I needed to make a video sharing my thoughts, sharing the good, the bad, and just my overall feelings towards this new film. Now, before I dive into the trailer and some of the details we've learned about this upcoming film, I just want to give this quick disclaimer about video games and movies in general, and just the overall difficulties that happen when you adapt something like a video game into a movie or a TV show. A lot of things don't quite translate, and I think a lot of times these movies and TV shows get a lot of hate because they're not like the original property, they're not like the original game, but there are just certain things that don't really translate. Like in a film, you can't have an hour and a half with no dialogue. That can happen in a video game and be perfectly fine, but you can't really translate that feeling to film. Now, something like The Last of Us is probably really readily adaptable in terms of, a video game to a movie or a TV show, whereas something like Elden Ring really isn't going to fully translate into a film. And ultimately, this is just a really long way of saying that this is not going to be the most definitive way to experience the Silent Hill 2 storyline and atmosphere and all that kind of stuff, which is not a problem because there exists 2 whole different versions of Silent Hill for you to play and experience and enjoy. Now, to get into the actual meat of the trailer, I'm actually really optimistic about this film. I know that it's just a teaser. You can't put too much weight into it. We don't really get a sense for the pacing or a lot of the finer elements of the film. We're just really getting a display of a lot of the visuals, a couple of the cast members in their role, and I think it really does a really good job, and I really like the cinematography here. There's a lot of shots that look really good. There's a lot of sequences that look amazing. I think Pyramid Head looks really good. I think he looks really foreboding and imposing. The town itself of Silent Hill, I think, is really fully realized, and I'd like to see a little bit more, but that's part of it being a teaser. It's just meant to tease us, but I think it looks good. Are there some bad shots in the trailer and some things that I think don't look that great? Yes, but I think that comes at the cost of trying to do something that's visually interesting, that you get some stuff that doesn't look as great. Now, one thing that did kind of concern me with the trailer that could ultimately not really be the case, I mean, again, this is a teaser trailer, it's meant to be short, so a lot of the cuts have to be pretty quick, but it just felt like the pacing seemed really fast paced from the shots that we did see and the clips that we did see in the trailer. And I wonder if that's going to carry over into the film, because when I think of Silent Hill 2, I kind of think about, kind of taking my time. And with some of the details we learned about the movie, I think it's only going to be an hour and a half long. Now, the first Silent Hill movie that was directed by this same French guy, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but anyway, that movie was like 2 hours long, and this one's going to be in an hour and a half, and I honestly feel like this story might be a little bit more dense, but we'll just have to see. Like I said, I feel like an hour and a half is just a little too short to tell the story, but who knows? Part of me wonders if some of the side character stories that you get in Silent Hill 2, the game itself, are going to be cut from the film to kind of present a more streamlined and concise narrative, but we'll see. I feel like those side characters are relatively important to the storyline of Silent Hill 2, but their sections might be shorter and their stories might not be as fully fleshed out as they were in the games, which is to be expected because a movie isn't obviously as long as the playtime of a video game. I've seen a lot of complaints from people about the way that James looks in the film with his longer, darker hair versus his short, more blonde style hair from the video game, but ultimately I've always kind of seen James as kind of this everyman. He's sort of just kind of this blank slate for the character to kind of inhabit and project themselves into. So I've never really, I don't get the hate for it. I think it's fine. I don't think it distracts from the film itself. While I do think James himself is a complex character, I never felt like his look played into who he was as a character. Speaking of character looks, I think Pinhead looks really good. I think they've really kind of threaded the needle on, making him big and foreboding, but also not making him look like a steroid monster. Like, his arms are big, but they're not like well-defined mega biceps that you would see on like Arnold Schwarzenegger. So I think they've really kind of met in the middle in a good way of doing their own kind of version of Pyramid Head and not really going the full Silent Hill Revelations just like Hulk monster. I also really like that the cast is kind of a bunch of nobodies, or at least people I've never heard of, because this movie would be really distracting. And honestly, my biggest fear for this movie was this trailer was going to drop, because I haven't really been tracking it up to this point, and the main shot shot of the trailer was going to be, you know, Pedro Pascal with a samurai sword doing a sword fight against Pyramid Head. That was like my biggest fear. And I'm glad to kind of just see a bunch of kind of nobodies, because it's a lot easier to kind of dive into the world if you're not as distracted because Jenna Ortega's, you know, playing Mary. One thing I'm real interested about this film is just hearing the actual soundtrack, because Silent Hill 2, the game, has a very pensive and thoughtful soundtrack while introducing very scary and kind of terrifying industrial music elements. So I'm interested to see. I wonder if they're going to go for a more standard film score. I wonder if they're going to lift anything from Silent Hill 2, the game. I would imagine they were going to pull some tracks from the game, just because that's a real like easy way to hit the member berries for fans and get some brownie points with fan service. And I just looked it up. Christophe Gans is the director who did the first original Silent Hill movie, which I honestly think is a really good representation of a Silent Hill game brought into a movie. Obviously, like I said, it's not absolutely perfect. It's not a one-to-one maximum parody. Obviously, Pyramid Head is in the movie and James Sunderland isn't in the movie, and those two are obviously, if you play the game, you know, are kind of intrinsically linked. But for what that was, it was really great. And Christophe Gans, he's a really good visionary director. He's a French guy, like I said earlier, and I really like his films. If you've seen the movie Brotherhood of the Wolf, which is a movie I definitely recommend. If you have not seen that movie, and if you take anything away from this video, it's to go see that movie Brotherhood of the Wolf, his first real sort of big movie, I believe, outside of Silent Hill. That movie actually inspired a lot of Bloodborne, if you didn't know, so go check that out. It's a very surreal sort of kung fu inspired thriller horror movie. Truly fantastic. It's in French, so you have to get around the subtitles, but it is a great movie. But anyway, I've made a much longer video than the actual trailer I'm talking about itself, so I think I'm going to wrap it here. What do you guys think about the trailer? What do you guys think about the movie in general? Are you hyped? Are you cautiously optimistic like me? Or are you a big time hater? Do you think that they shouldn't even go about making this? I'm excited. I'm just hoping to see some cool Silent Hill visuals on the big screen, maybe hear the score and just kind of have a good time with it. Honestly, I don't want it to be a masterpiece. It's kind of more fun if it's kind of a good, bad horror movie. And I think that's what it's going to be. I think it's going to be a fun fan service. You romp through the Silent Hill world on the big screen. It's not going to be something that converts a bunch of people into Silent Hill fans, and it's never going to be, because the film itself and the game itself, I mean, Silent Hill is so intrinsically tied to being a game, and being a game that was on the PlayStation 2 or the PlayStation or whatever, so it's not going to 100% translate to anything else. So I'm kind of excited about it, but let me know down in the comments down below, and if you like this video, leave a like, and if you want to see more stuff like this, please consider subscribing. I would appreciate it. I would appreciate it greatly, as I'm super close to 1,000 subs, and every sub I get gets me that much closer, and I'm that much more excited. And if you didn't like this video, dislike it and leave a hate comment calling me a big time dummy and hurt my feelings real bad. And with that, I will see you guys in the next one. Later.